around. So it doesn't matter. As the companies shake out, the more successful companies will take over the factories. And in fact, that's what happened.
Okay, that's what happens.
Yeah. And so I don't know how many from the original 90 or so wind turbine companies still exist in China. Perhaps it's only 15, but I would be just guessing at this point.
15, you think? 15 companies, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them have their own development arms. Some of them are pure play manufacturers. Some of them, the more successful ones, are utility subsidiaries, so that they have all the advantages of working with existing utilities in terms of the development side.
Yeah.
But there are individual pure players as well. In any case, one would think, so as a result of, first of all, that the push was to just manufacture turbines cheaply, and coupled with the fact that roughly over a decade, roughly 40% of them were not hooked up to the grid at the time they were commissioned. It took several years for many of them to get grid hookups. The way projects were financed in those days, it didn't matter if they were producing electricity or not, strangely enough. But in any case, Chinese turbines, though very cheap, were also considered very poor from a technological standpoint, from a performance standpoint. And so in the earliest days, there was never any question about Chinese turbines being able to be sold into mature, quote, Western markets. Of course, over time, that was gradually expected to change. And indeed, and when I say there was no chance to sell Chinese turbines into mature markets, of course, there are always some fringe players. But generally, they can't bring a project to financial close, much less construction. So, in fact, there were a couple of projects, both in Europe and in North America, with Chinese turbines that were basically garbage, which never saw the light of day. But a couple of companies in China made the correct management decisions and gradually upgraded their technology or purchased their technology from European players predominantly. And they are beginning to be able to enter mature market.
Okay.
And so I would say that there's 2, possibly 3 companies that can be discussed as turbine suppliers in mature markets, meaning North America and Europe.
And who are these companies? 2 to 3 companies, you said?
The leader is Goldwind.
Yeah.
The second is Mingyang, or Mingyang.
Yeah.
And the third is perhaps Envision.
Okay, Envision, yeah. Perhaps.
And the story of Goldwind is very informative for how Chinese players strategically move into the market. Goldwind was building its own turbines, not particularly successfully, although, from a performance standpoint, although they sold an awful lot, so they were able to gradually emerge as a company with significant cash flow, which they used to purchase German technology